Once, when Michael was driving SJ out, a truck suddenly swerved into their lane. Michael couldn't avoid it and crashed head-on. When and arrived after receiving the call, the car was severely damaged, but strangely, SJ only had a few scratches. The police told, and that a child sitting in the passenger seat during such a crash would likely have their neck broken by the airbag, or worse. But the airbag in front of SJ seemed to have malfunctioned. The police said it was a miracle, and then walked over to Michael, who was holding his head in self-blame, and comforted him, saying that SJ was okay and that accidents could happen to anyone. She asked Michael to look at her, but when Michael lowered his arms and noticed that his right hand was covered in blood, she quickly asked Michael what had happened. It turned out it wasn't a miracle at all. Michael had used his own body to block the instantly deploying airbag. This was his weakness. He couldn't bring himself to hurt anyone, but this wouldn't work in football training. Michael refused to use force, unwilling to actively attack anyone. If this continued, even with his potential, he wouldn't be able to play. So, SJ took on the task of training Michael. He told Michael that everyone in their family was an athlete, and that he wanted Michael to become an excellent athlete too. SJ would help Michael do sit-ups, practice speed and endurance, and even act as a barbell for his strength training. But on the field, Michael still refused to actively attack others, even when the coach screamed himself hoarse. Just then, and walked onto the field, she called Michael over and asked him, "If someone tried to hurt me, you'd stop them, right?" Michael nodded. She continued, "You stopped the airbag when SJ was in the car accident. This team is your family now. You have to help them stay away from those guys on the other side." As and spoke, she walked over and grabbed a key player from their team, telling Michael to protect him like he would protect her. Then she grabbed another player and said this person was like SJ at home. Michael then asked about Collins and Sean and said they were also on the team. Michael understood. After and left, all the players were confused, but Michael quickly began to transform. He became like an unstoppable warrior, initiating attacks and actively protecting his teammates. Soon, Michael had his first game, but brute force alone wasn't enough on the field. Due to his lack of experience, Michael was quickly exploited by the opposing team. The father of an opposing player kept yelling from the stands, and SJ was a bit upset, and told him to ignore it. On the field, the white player on the other team kept verbally abusing Michael, calling him a dummy, and even threatening to kill him. They constantly used fake moves to confuse Michael, and soon the score widened. The opposing player's father yelled even louder. That's when Anne's temper flared. She stood up and warned the man to shut his mouth. Just then, Michael was pushed to the ground, and an opposing player actually kicked his helmet. Even the coach couldn't stand it anymore. He rushed over to argue with the referee, who only gave a yellow card warning. The coach yelled at the referee, "This young man plays on my team, and I will defend him like my own son." He then stormed over and pointed his finger in the referee's face. Michael hugged him to calm him down. When he returned to the field, truly feeling that this team was his family, he had a real awakening. He was like a massive human tank, and under his protection, his team scored repeatedly. And just like that, they miraculously reversed the score and won the game. SJ then burned a DVD of the game and sent it to coaches at various universities. Watching Michael's performance in the game, they all realized he was a promising talent. One day, while Michael and his team were training, coaches from major universities, some even renowned gold medal coaches, traveled from afar to see him. They all offered Michael scholarships, promising him a spot on their university football teams if he could just pass his academic courses, and began planning Michael's future. She wanted him to get an academic scholarship to the best university possible. But Michael's grades were terrible. Even though he worked harder than anyone, it seemed futile. So, and spared no expense in hiring private tutors for him. Hard work pays off, and Michael finally graduated with passing grades. As soon as he graduated, their doorbell barely stopped ringing. Representatives from major universities visited them one after another, offering increasingly extravagant scholarships. Michael actually had his own ideas, and hoped Michael would go to the University of Mississippi. Not only did it have excellent academics, but it was also her and Sean's alma mater. She hoped Michael could bring honor to their school. And so, following his family's advice, Michael chose the University of Mississippi. But one day, a strange woman approached Michael. She told him that Anne's real motive for adopting him was solely to bring glory to her alma mater, that it was all about self-interest, and no one truly cared about him. Swayed by the woman's words, Michael believed her. He ran to confront and, demanding to know why she had deceived him and whether everything she had done was truly for his benefit or if she had ulterior motives. Without waiting for an answer, Michael left on his own that evening and asked Sean if she had done something wrong. Sean replied that even if they had to do it all over again, he would still choose to adopt Michael, and wondered if she had interfered too much in his life, never even asking for Michael's opinion and stubbornly choosing a path she thought was best for him. Meanwhile, Michael returned to the projects. His old friends greeted him, but they callously mocked and insulted, and even threatening to break into her home. Hearing this, Michael finally snapped. He lashed out at the man, quickly taking down everyone. He wouldn't allow anyone to disrespect his family. The next day, Anne drove alone to the projects to find Michael. She learned that he had beaten up some thugs the day before and left. Before leaving, Anne threatened the thugs, telling them not to touch her son. After much searching, she finally found Michael. Before Michael could speak and apologize to him, saying she should have asked for his opinion, and promising that even if Michael chose the team she disliked the most, she and Sean would cheer for him at every game. Michael then asked what if he didn't want to play football at all, and simply said, "It's your decision, it's your life." Michael went back to the woman and told her that even if he had the choice, he would still choose the University of Mississippi because his family had all gone there. On his first day of school, and held Michael's arm and gave him a word of advice. "You can have fun here, but make sure to focus on your studies the rest of the time." Finally, and hugged Michael tightly, reluctant to let go, before returning to her car. Michael walked over and knocked on her car window, saying he wanted a proper hug, and turned her head, and he saw that she was secretly crying, and got out of the car and gave Michael a big, heartfelt hug. This black boy was lucky. He met the kindest family. This is a true story, adapted from the extraordinary experiences of Michael Oher, the first-round pick in the 2009 National Football League draft. Michael's journey from a homeless boy to a world-renowned football player was made possible by the kindness of everyone around him. He possessed a powerful physique, but also a critical weakness. A tragic childhood had closed many doors for him, but God still opened a window filled with sunshine. Friends, if you have ever experienced setbacks in life, or if you are currently going through a difficult time, please don't give up. Believe that there is always kindness in life that will illuminate your path. Alright, that's the end of today's story. If you have any thoughts on this film, please leave a comment below. And make sure you subscribe to catch more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and see you in next one.